Hey, what's going on, family? Welcome to a new video. And as y'all can see, man, in today's video, we're gonna talk about how I spent my first $100,000, man. Let's get to it. So before we start, I always forget to say this, but please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's growing a little bit, but and I'm appreciative of that, but I do want it to grow a little bit more. I think I wore this shirt on a previous video, but I promise you it's a different day. My shirt is clean. I don't want y'all to think that I constantly wear the same stuff, so I just want to get that out the way. All right, y'all, so let's talk about how I was able to have $100,000 in my bank account at one time and how I actually spent it. The first time I had $100,000 in my bank account at one time was in 2018. Yeah, I've made over $100,000 for many years, but I never had it in my account sitting there until 2018. How I came about that $100,000 is I sold a house and then wholesaling property, and then kind of just saving from my 9 to 5 and stuff like that. So 2018 is when I actually had $100,000 in my bank account. And I think a lot of us, we all want to see 6 figures just sitting in the bank account. It's not the best thing in the world, to be honest with y'all. It's just like a milestone that you just want to see with your own eyes. All right, so I had this $100,000 in my bank account. My thing was, all right, now what? Now what? What am I gonna do with this money? A lot of us, man, for some reason, again, we wanna have $100,000, but once we got it, what's next? What do we do with that $100,000? We have all these things that we say we would do if we had $100,000 cash, and then we have it. We freeze up. We don't know what the hell to do because we don't wanna lose it. And that's kind of what I did, honestly. I kind of lost it. And then not in a bad way. So let's break down how I spent this $100,000. So, all right, I had $100,000 and I definitely remember paying off my car at the time. I had a car, had an Infinity, between $5,000 to $10,000 left on paying it off. So I paid my car off. I paid off a loan that I also had, and that loan was about $20,000. I had about 3 credit cards that I paid off in full. I paid for my braces in full. So I did have insurance, but it didn't cover all of it. I had to come like $5,000 out of pocket or something like that. So I paid for my braces, and then I paid off my wife's credit cards. And I took a vacation. The vacation was like $8,000. And then honestly, man, after all those things was taken care of, my legit probably had like $10,000 left to my name. And the reason I'm sharing this video with y'all and the reason I'm telling y'all all this is because of a couple things. For one, having a goal, of saving $100,000 is actually a good goal to have, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with it. But the problem is having $100,000 accessible to you so easily is not the best thing for most people, especially for me. Even though I did pay off debt, I could have done some other things with that money to not only just pay off debt, but to also have money consistently, have that $100,000 consistently paying me every month, which I didn't. I literally used all the money to pay off debt and take a vacation and get braces to basically start back at zero. And I tell people all the time, when you come across a big lump sum of money, please don't have it so that you can access it so easily. The way I operate now, y'all, I put it in vehicles in which it's hard to me to just get access to, because at the end of the day, if money just sitting there, all you're going to do is just spend it. Let's just keep it all the way a stack. You're going to just spend the money. It's not just going to sit there. I'm not talking about inflation and all that stuff. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm talking about as people, if money is just sitting there, you're going to spend it. Things is going to pop up, emergencies going to pop up, and all you're going to do is spend it. It's not making you no money. My preference for all y'all to do is, like I said, put it in places where it's hard to access. Invest in real estate. This is the thing, right? If I were to put some of that money into real estate, it's not as easy as me just taking the money, right? When you got money parked in real estate, you actually gotta sell the real estate, which could take 30 to 60 days. So you're gonna think twice. It's not so accessible, and at the same time, the money is also growing. Putting it into online savings accounts or CDs, right? Because when you put it in online savings accounts and CDs, it's not as easy as just going to the bank and taking out money. You gotta go through, you gotta transfer the money. It's gonna take 2 to 3 days, and it gives you more time to think and more time to be like, it's not worth it. Whatever it is you're trying to buy with that money, is it really worth it? But when the money is just sitting in a checking account and there's $100,000 and you hype, you're going to spend it every single time. I don't care what you think. If you don't spend it, somebody else going to spend it, AKA your spouse, AKA your kids. The money is going to get spent. And also, I tell people this all the time. People like to save for a rainy day, which is cool, I guess. But this is the thing. When you put money aside literally for a rainy day, you're going to attract rainy days. So let's say you just put $10,000, $20,000 aside. What's going to happen is that money, the energy that the purpose of that money is for an emergency. So what's going to happen is you're going to get emergencies, y'all, and that money is going to get spent. So instead of thinking that way, let's go ahead and put our money into vehicles that's going to grow over time and also hard to access. Also, life insurance, y'all. So I have about $30,000 to $50,000 of my own money into life insurance, and it's growing there. I can borrow against it. I can do all these things, but it's not as easy as just clicking the button and getting access to that money. You're gonna think twice before, just getting access to that to go buy whatever, go on vacation, buy some clothes. My preference personally, y'all, I really don't like to have access to more than $5,000 fairly easy, right? I think $5,000 can take care of any emergency that pops up. The most famous emergency would be a car breakdown. Something happened to your car and you might need $1,000, $2,000, and $5,000 put aside is more than enough to take care of that. You don't need to have all this money sitting there just to look at it, because again, all you're gonna do is spend it. Having a couple thousand set aside is all you need. Other than that, man, park it into places where it's extremely difficult to take out. That's how I spent my first $100,000. And of course, since then, I have many more $100,000. But again, I put it in places where it's hard for me to access. And I never allow any of my accounts to reach $100,000 in it by itself. Again, that's more of a flex. That's more of a thing where you just want to see that, but it don't mean nothing. It legit don't mean nothing. If you got $100,000, probably have $25,000 in stocks, $25,000 in some type of real estate, $25,000 in Bitcoin, if that's what you into. But having it all in one place and so accessible is not a good thing, y'all. So yeah, that's how I spent my first $100,000. And I try to think of a video that a lot of people don't think of. And I try to stay relatable to y'all, because I know a lot of y'all have goals of reaching $100,000. Like I said, it's okay, but it's nothing to be super hype about. The more important thing is that you have that money invested in places that's going to pay you and grow over time. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. I'll see y'all in the next one, man. Let's get it.